Hello and welcome to Sci-Fi Eggheads. This is your boy, the one and only E. Murph, coming at you also with.
That's right, Django 3000, man. Glad you guys are joining us again, man. Great to be back with you.
So, before we even dive in, we want to encourage everybody to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow us. You know, we give you good information, and it's not just on one genre or one type of thing. It's on a lot of stuff. So, check us out. Follow us if you like what you're hearing.
Yeah,
So,
definitely hit that notification bell, man, so you guys know when we drop new content, man.
So today we are going to touch base or talk about John Boyega. For those of you who don't know who that is our Star Wars star who plays lost his name. What's his Star Wars name?
Oh, Finn.
Finn. Yeah, lost his name. That cool. Oh, so he's Finn on Star Wars, plays adjacent to Daisy Ridley and her position as Rey. So what we're going to discuss is when we were first introduced to the two, we noticed that there was starting to be a little kindle between them. They were starting to be closer and closer to each other. As a matter of fact, we had some hints about her possibly training him in the Force. And they actually released a little Christmas episode this past Christmas where she's training him as a Jedi. And she goes back in time, sees a whole bunch of different Jedis, getting information on why she couldn't get him to train as a Jedi. But anyway, that's not the main issue. The main issue was they were actually starting, according to the set on the script, to develop like an interest in each other. And when it didn't develop, you know, we kind of had in the back of our heads like, you know, I wonder what happened with that. But nobody really came out and voiced it. Now it's like John Boyega just did recently in the news. And he shed some light on what happened and why it all of a sudden just dissipated between the two. So he got interviewed by GQ in UK. And this is what he had to say. I'm just going to read his words verbatim. He criticized Disney over Star Wars, saying black characters were pushed aside. In the interview with GQ, the Star Wars actor also reflected on threats and trolling he received after he was cast in Star Wars The Force Awakens. These are his exact words. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley, Boyega said, of the white co-stars in the recent sequel trilogy that began with Star Wars The Force Awakens. He said, let's be honest. Daisy knows this, Adam knows this, everybody knows this. I'm exposing everything. He said, what I would say to Disney, if he was asked, is that do not bring in a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. Boyega said, you know what to do with these other people, but not when it came to Kelly Marie Tran and when it came to John Boyega. He said, so basically what we're looking at is him saying he was pushed aside for no other reason but because the audience couldn't accept a black man and a white woman being in a relationship on Star Wars. And to me, you know, I like Star Wars. As a matter of fact, if you would have asked me what's my favorite series on TV right now, most people already know it, but it's going to be The Mandalorian. I love this show. But the thing is, I'm very disappointed by the fact that Disney actually pulled an antiquated move to push the black person aside so that they prevent his love interest, those who from having a love interest, because they didn't think their audience was ready for it. There's a statement by a wise person that once said, "It's never a time to wait anything you're gonna do, you should do it now. I'm actually referencing Martin Luther King when he was speaking from Birmingham jail when they asked him why he should wait. So John Boyega has stepped to the plate. He's been very vocal about it. He called him out on it. And I guess the thing that we need to consider, this is the question of the day, I guess, and I'm gonna pass this to your boy Django. The question of the day is, which one is better for the Star Wars franchise? Which would have been better? To placate to what it sounds like they're a big group of Star Wars fans who don't want to see a black and a white person together, or to do the right thing and continue the direction that you were going with the chance of you might lose a couple of your viewers, but you'll be doing the right thing and might even gain some. We don't know. So that's the question of the day. Should Disney have continued what they were doing and ignored those? Or should they have done the right thing? Now, if you say they should placate to the viewers, then there's something else we need to talk about, which is Cara Dune. Because right now, she's in the news as well, and there's a lot of people saying fire her because of her comments in the news. But Filoni has kind of defended her in the past, but we noticed on some recent pictures that she's no longer in the pictures that they're showing for the upcoming season. But that's another issue, and that's only an issue if you say they should placate to the larger group viewers. So that's the question. If you were Disney, how do you handle that situation?
Well, let me say this first before I get into my ranting session. Let's say Cara Dune for later, because I hadn't even read the article regarding her, and it sounds interesting. That'd be something that we can delve in later. But I would say this right here, E. And this is my personal 2 cents. In regarding on the direction that Disney took Star Wars franchise, I don't agree with anything that they did. And my first point is this right here. On all the movies that they produced through, well, I should say under that line of Kathleen Kennedy and those big bosses, right? All the movies, in my opinion, were terrible, except for Rogue One, which is, in my opinion, one of the best movies that they actually made. The reason being, when it seems every time they would go into production on a Star Wars film or franchise series, they never had a foundation on where they were going with the story. They always were coming in doing reshoots, rewriting scripts, bringing in new directors and stuff. They kept changing. They never had a solid foundation. Lucas, on the other hand, George Lucas, he had an idea. He was kind of like Tolkien. He had this big world that he created in his mind, a story. Everything was based on the foundation of that story. Okay, if it branched off, it still came back to the foundation that he created. In this realm, I should say, of the Disney franchise, Lucasfilm era, it seems like everybody's pulling strings from every direction. You know, when we were growing up, man, we didn't take into consideration that Lando was a black man kissing Princess Leia's hand or flirting with her. You know what I'm saying? Because we were so indelved in the story, those concepts they didn't permeate in your mind. Now we're in there talking about love interest as it regards to Jedi. Since when we started talking about Jedi having love interest? You know what I'm saying? It was an anomaly that Anakin had a love interest with Padme. And Padme and his love interest was one of them things that never happened. That, you know, flourished. You know what I'm saying? They actually got married and started making a family. Okay, in that sense, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about the romantic thing. Okay, the only other romantic, you know, episode you had was Han and Leia, and it was very subtle. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got that in Empire Strikes Back. You know, I love you. I know. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that was so in depth that we was focused on the love story. You know what I'm saying? But here we go, talking about love interest between Finn and Rey, Kylo Ren, what have you, and you know. People talking about relationships. I'm talking about how in the world is this girl a Jedi? You know what I mean? I'm talking about Finn started out as a stormtrooper. Now all of a sudden he fight with a lightsaber. Let's talk about that crap first. You know what I mean? We talking about love interest. I said, you know, if you're gonna argue about something, let's argue about how crappy this script is. You know, let's talk about how utterly dumb this whole premise is regarding this new era of Star Wars. Could have been a whole lot better. Franchise started out great. You know what I mean? It was a kid movie, man. You know what I'm saying? It touched out. It brought us back. That first movie, it was off the rails a little bit, but it brought us back to that childhood way of thinking. You know what I mean? You know, but now here we go. We talking about political issues in a movie. You know what I mean? Think about this right here. This point was brought up on another YouTube channel, and I thought it was so prominent, and you know, I gave it a fist bump. During the scene, the last episode of The Mandalorian, right? When Moff Gideon's ship was attacked, that whole scene was done by all women. But the way they did it, you didn't even think about, hey, this all women. You know what I mean? But you had all women attacking this Star Corps, I forget the model of the ship. But until somebody brought that to my attention, man, it was a concept that didn't even reach me that way. I was just watching a great show. You see what I'm saying? But somebody brought it to my attention. So when it translates in a way that it doesn't strike your attention, you did it right. But on the other hand, when you got something like John Boyega and all this kind of stuff, you know, I agree with you. It started looking like, you know, it's gonna be a love interest type deal, and all of a sudden they brought the other chick in, and they had this 5-minute romance. You know what I'm saying? And then it sizzled out, and then the next thing you know, Kylo Ren is the love interest of Rey. I thought the whole thing was dumb. You know what I mean? As far as, you know, love interest and all this racial complexity and stuff, you know, I don't agree with it. I just disagree that the movie was terrible. I mean, not terrible. I disagree that the movie was worthy enough to be called a Star Wars movie. I think the movie was trash. You know, him being sidelined is just something, just another nugget to throw on top of a steaming pile of crap to me. You know what I mean? And I hate to be brusque, man, but that's how I see it. You know, the franchise to me had a whole lot more going on outside of the political issues. You know what I'm saying? Civil issues or however you want to name it and stuff. I just did not like the way that they took that franchise, man. They really, in my opinion, wasted a generation. Cause you think about it. These kids they're not gonna grow up loving the movie the way we did because it was trash. You know what I mean? You got the floor on me. I didn't mean to step on you.
Oh, you did. But I agree. I agree. What the main thing I got from what you said was the movie was so bad that we had to look at stuff that we don't normally look at.
Exactly.
And two, I kind of relate. Well, I don't say I relate. I understand Boyega being that he got pushed aside how it would feel, but it looks like that's a dead end anyway. It looks like that series, unless didn't they bring in new director? Isn't Filoni going to be over the next set of movies?
No, Filoni and what's his face? I
know you're talking about
John. What his name is? Happy. What is it? I can't think of John, whatever his name is. They're doing their own thing, man. I mean, everything they're doing is outside of the realm of Kathleen Kennedy, man. And I can go for that, man. You know, as far as John Boyega, man, getting back on him, man, he got a whole lot more crap to worry about other than being cut out of a love interest with Rey. He got to understand that he tied to one of the worst movies in Star Wars franchise history, man. That's what he need to be worried about. How can I get my face off of this crap story? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at it as. I could care less about a love interest. In my opinion, it shouldn't have ever been a love interest in the first place, you know?
Jon Favreau, that's who you trying to think of.
Jon Favreau. Why I couldn't think of that, man? I guess we said so much, you know what I mean? It's just like you have what you call a brain fart.
Yeah. So, sound like we're in agreement with this. This movie, it it was so terrible. It unearthed some other things that was really bad about what the franchise was doing with those three. So that might be dead. I don't think we even going to be looking at any more movies from starring Ray and Finn.
From what I understand, maybe you can look it up, but from what I understand, they revamped the franchise in the first place, right?
Oh yeah, they are.
That's terrible. You know, that's to me that's just bad business. You make a movie so bad that you have to redo it. You know what I mean? Do you know how bad the cinema? I mean, let's just say for the time, man, that it was produced, man. Star Wars had like one of the best special effects, won all the awards. But by the time me and you were watching it, you know what I mean? By the time we actually had a adult grasp of what was going on, man, those special effects were so behind the time, man. But guess what? We had so much of a love for the movie that it didn't matter. You know what I mean? These kids, these kids nowadays, man, they're just gonna look at that first order episode crap and think, okay, I saw Star Wars. It was a steaming pile. You know what I mean?
Yep. So that's our take on John Boyega and his comments. I really hate that happened to dude, but the whole movie was thrown out anyway. So we want to end by reminding you guys that please click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. We'd love to hear what you guys think about us.
Drop some comments down below.
Yep, drop your comments. We got several upcoming topics we're going to be looking at too. One of them we mentioned just then about Cara Dune and the call for her to get fired. We also got to look at the Kong trailer. We got to look at Superman trailer, and we got some other tech stuff. But before we end, did you want to go ahead and give them that nitpick about Tesla?
No, I'll wait and I'll bring it back in another episode. So you guys tune in, man, to our Tesla episode. Let me bring you guys some great info.
All right, sounds good. You guys hold it down. Peace out from Sci-Fi EggHeads. This has been E-Murph, the one and only.
Django 3K.
And we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.